I saw the video and it's horrific. A guy punching a female flight attendant is just unspeakable,
No,
right? I
yeah,
mean, it's
you
just
throw him
unspeakable.
out of the flight while
Right.
it's en route.
Yeah, you know what that music means? That's right, kids. It's time for episode number 48 of the Promo Front podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Bill Petrie. With me, as always, the major of Major League Baseball caps, the one and only Dr. Kirby Hassman. Kirby, how the heck are you?
I am doing well. I've actually gotten to a point where I really enjoy the nicknames now because I feel like they foreshadow something that we're going to be talking about each time, which I kind of dig that. So kudos to you on that. I'm doing well. It's been an eventful week, I think. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I'm doing well. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing good, thank you. And it has been an eventful week, and I think we'll get to that in a second. But speaking of events right now make me think of recognition, right?
Yeah.
They think me think of recognizing employees, and when it's done, especially recognition, when it's done thoughtfully and intentionally, it has such an enormous positive impact on more than just the employee. From a simple increase of productivity to retaining talent, there are countless studies that materially show how well employee recognition programs work for everyone involved.
Mhm.
But one of the things I think people misconstrue, they think recognition is this one-time event, and
Right.
it's really so much more than that. And I know you know this. To make a real difference in employee engagement, companies have to look past more than just today. They have to create a culture of appreciation that permeates the entire organization. And this is where a valued partner with decades of experience come in. And we know who the real partner is in the promotional products industry. It's none other than Jay Charles, because they truly understand that each piece of recognition merchandise is really a time machine that transports the recipient back to that moment of appreciation. I know you love that concept of the time machine.
I do. And again, we've talked about this, that I remember moments of my career. There's specific things that where I've been handed something, or when it's been done right, that you're exactly right. It does act like a time machine. But the other piece I think that is worth mentioning is the impact it has not only on the recipient, but the rest of the company. It really does show the rest of the company how they are appreciated and how recognition is done. And I think sometimes that's undervalued in the piece. It's like it helps build a culture too. You know what I
It
mean?
does. When I say it permeates the entire organization, it really does, because people want to be recognized. I mean, that is one of the most desired things in an organization. And just like music, a specific song can transport you back in time, so can a piece of recognition.
Yeah.
And it's a wonderful thing. So whether it's a traditional crystal award or an exquisite clock, perhaps a beautiful vase, or even elegant drinkware, and I love that J. Charles drinkware. So whether it's any of those things, you do just cherish the best of times. There you go, with friends and family. The J. Charles team's going to work with you to create merchandise that's not just for today, it's forever. And you were just showing that gratitude glass, which is just a beautiful piece of merchandise. So love the good folks at J. Charles. So,
well, it's a great example,
normally,
right? Like, so I gave
this
and it's sitting on my desk, which
it is. And so normally we jump into the promo up front section. It's my week. And before we do, I wanted to say congratulations to you, Grandpa. Your lovely daughter, Skylar, announced just maybe 24 hours ago that she is pregnant. Congratulations.
Yes. Thank you. I appreciate that. This is anybody who knows me, and I know you, of course, do, is like, it's one of those things where I've known about this for some time now, and I do not like keeping secrets. So I'm excited for multiple reasons. Obviously, I'm excited for the addition to the family, but also that I don't have to keep the secret anymore, because one of the ways that I keep that from announcing is I just suppress it. It doesn't exist. And so now that the announcement's been made, I can talk about that. I can be excited about it. And so, my wife and I are pretty fired up.
Well, and now I know why when Sandy and I took Keith and Skylar out to dinner here in Nashville, she wouldn't drink. I'm like,
that's right. She was very,
I'm buying.
Yeah, she's like, Bill was very adamant. He wanted me to have a margarita. And
I
so,
did.
that's good to know. That's good to know, right?
It is good to know.
So yeah, we had a bit of a life event this week, but on and that's a happy occasion. You had one this week as well, and so how are
Yeah.
you, buddy?
Good. So for those of you who don't know, my dad was 81. He passed away last Saturday after he's had health problems for years, but was very healthy in terms of his lifestyle, in terms of being active until about 2 weeks ago, and it just took a big decline. He was 81. I wasn't especially close with my family, but he was still my dad. We
Right.
didn't see. I think the way I've phrased it is, we didn't see eye to eye on everything, but he was still my dad. And so,
Right.
very quietly last week, things were in decline. I flew to Texas. It was a quick, quite
Sure.
literally, I think 21-hour trip, and was able to see him, and he was still very lucid, and he was able to stand up and give me a hug, and we were able to hug each other. And so I think that helped this week. So I was back in Texas. I quite literally, this is Thursday night. It's June the 3rd. I just walked in the door from driving back from Texas not more than 27 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So I'm a little tired. So
Yeah.
I'm a little punchy, which that could be fun.
It might be.
But,
It might be.
but thank you for asking. So been to the funeral. And so, now life goes on.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I
All
think
right.
all of us will be thinking of you, buddy.
Well, I appreciate that. And I appreciate everybody reaching out. I've had a lot of people who reached out over the past
Yeah.
few days. I've been very dark on social media and things like
Right.
that. So really appreciate that. So, hey, let's change the subject, shall we, Kirby?
We shall. We shall.
Let's promo up front this bad boy. All right, Kirby, you're a promo distributor, from what
am.
I understand.
That's what I've
Have
heard.
you ever been conned?
I've heard of the topic of it, and I've certainly received emails where somebody wants 2,000 USB drives
Right.
blank and stuff like that. But yeah, I think that's a challenge.
So a promo distributor got swindled, got taken.
Yeah.
It's the same thing you were just talking about. So this one, it's a fake PO. This time it came from Ohio, a fake real college, but it was from Ohio University. It really didn't come from Ohio University.
Right.
For 5,000 USB drives. They pretended to be procurement from Ohio University. They used a real name of someone who worked in procurement there, but a fake email address. Instead of at ohio.edu, it was at ohio-edu.org.
Man.
Very close. But there were a number of red flags. Like I said, the fake email address. They couldn't get anyone on the phone to verify the order. They tried, but they kind of chalked it up to COVID, that no one was in the office. They said, there's the distributor speaking, that the PO was a little amateurish, and then they were supposed to send the USB drives to a FedEx store instead of campus.
Yep.
They went ahead and did it.
Yeah.
Net 30 terms, and then the scammer, before that the 30 days were up to pay, ordered another 5,000 units, and they were printed. Now, they were never shipped. So basically 10,000 USBs, 5,000 the thieves got, 5,000 are kind of unusable sitting in their office. I guess I want to talk to you. This happens a lot, right?
Yeah.
And I feel bad for the distributor.
I do too.
But then I don't. I mean, honestly, part of me doesn't, because this to me is kind of the equivalent of the letter from the prince in Africa who's going to send you money. I know distributors are desperate for orders, right? Everybody is. Everybody wants business. And to me, when you start taking shortcuts and not seeing things, people generally don't call you out of the blue with zero relationship and offer you $10,000 order. That just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And so there's part of me that thinks, I do feel bad for the distributor. Let me be very clear. I do feel bad for him, but there's part of me also, it's like, man, you kind of did it to yourself. I mean, you talk, it sounded like, just from reading the article, and this came from ASI, it sounds like they tried to do due diligence, but they made excuses every time they couldn't verify something or validate this. So
I will tell you, so we get the standard emails, and I think the challenge is, and you pointed out, I love what you said, is that, people are sort of desperate for orders. And I think desperation does cause desperate actions sometimes. And so I want to give people a little bit of grace. We actually, we chased it down a rabbit hole one time. Like, I was like, okay, like we got the thing and it was 3,000. I had a new salesperson and they got the email
Right.
and they said, look, and I said, it's fake.
Yeah.
And they're like, well,
Never
I
know.
reached out to them and they seem like, I'm like, okay. But they have gotten more and more sophisticated. Like that email address, that's like,
It's close.
it's close.
It's
I mean, I got to
close.
give it. And they're compelling in how they kind of pitch the idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, we kind of took it down and I was like, all right, cool. So credit card, you got to pay by credit card in advance
Yeah.
before we ship anything. And
That's the key.
it started to unravel, and the more
Yep.
you pick at it, it does unravel. But I will say they did a good job up till that point. And so while I do understand what you're saying, I think in those desperate times, you're like, oh my God, this is the thing we needed to get back on track. And it's you want to believe it. And so
and look, I agree with you, and I'm not trying to really publicly flog this distributor at all.
I
Look,
understand.
we all make rationalizations when we want something to happen, but the tone of the article and the quotes from the distributor principal made it seem like, man, looking back, we were kind of foolish because you start rationalizing all these things. And what I love about what you said, Kirby, and this is key, and this is one of the things I wrote down is, when it feels suspicious, prepay. That's it. That will tell you if it's real or not.
Yeah.
Prepay.
I'll be honest with you. And let me just tell you, they agreed. So it even got, they said, oh yeah, we'll absolutely prepay. And then I actually, because I was, there were enough red flags that I'm like, I don't know if I want to accept the prepayment because that makes me uncomfortable too.
Well, that's the thing. Sometimes they're using scammed credit cards.
Right.
So that's why, to me, it's prepay, but I'm sorry, with new customers, it has to be a money order. So, or a bank check. And I think that's the only way you can really ferret it out. And I'm sure there are people who get fake bank checks too. So there's always a way out, but I do feel bad for the distributor. So if you're a distributor listening to this, kind of make sure if it's too good to be true, it probably is, and pick at it as much as you can, because
and it's tough though. Like again,
I actually see that money.
This was a thing where I wanted to, because I really immediately was like, it's fake.
Yeah.
But he was like, my salesperson was like, come on, man.
Yeah.
And so
you want to be proven wrong.
Yeah, I did. And so we kept going down, and I finally was like, guys, there is a point at which I got to trust my gut. And so we walked away. And I think even the salesperson at the end was like, it was just too fishy, but it's tough.
Well, so watch out there for scammers. I mean, gosh, I hate that, these things happen. And look, I'm not saying, wow, distributor, you were dumb, you should have known. It's just,
it's tough.
I have the benefit of reading an article on hindsight's 2020. So it's very easy to see these red flags, go, why would you even process that? But in the moment, I understand how it happens.
Yeah. Cool.
Awesome. All right. Kirby, you got a topic for us?
So I want to go to another industry one, but I'm not. I'm going to go.
Okay.
So here's my headline on this is, in our country, assholes have reached critical mass.
Okay.
So the real headline is, airlines say bye-bye to booze. Have you read about this?
Oh, yeah. I read about it.
Yeah.
And I'm hot under the Bombay Sapphire collar about it, Kirby.
So for those who haven't, the travel, of course, is picking up around the world. And unfortunately, so are reports of unruly behavior in the skies. Things have gotten so bad that United, American, and Southwest are curbing alcohol in flights. Part of this is because there's video of a Southwest flight where somebody punched a flight attendant. They actually knocked out a couple teeth. And so they are literally, Southwest they are not serving alcohol. American will serve alcohol in first and business class, but not in the main cabin.
Yep.
And United will only serve beer, wine, and hard seltzer. Like, I get it. Many of us are excited to get out. We're excited to see everybody. But number one, alcohol sales in our country was way up. You would think our tolerance would be above board.
Oh.
I wrote a blog post a little over a year ago that said Americans are starting to act like spoiled teenagers. Most read blog post I ever wrote. Now we've managed to graduate to spoiled college kids on spring break. Like the idea, and you know me, I actually don't drink a lot on flights. That's not my thing.
Yeah.
And that's not a morality thing.
Sure.
That's not what I do. But dude, the idea that we can't be served a beer because a few assholes have ruined it for
Yep.
us, crazy town. So
So
go Bill.
I'm going to push back.
Okay.
And I'm going to agree, and I'm going to push back more
Okay.
pushback. So I saw the video, and it's horrific. A guy punching a female flight attendant is just unspeakable.
No,
Right? I
yeah,
mean, it's
you
just
throw him
unspeakable.
out of the flight while
Right.
it's en route.
But yeah, no kidding. But here's so I get where airlines are like, okay, this people have pent up frustrations because of COVID. They've been cooped up for a year, and so now they get on a flight. They don't want to wear a mask. I mean, people are just starting to rebel in every small, medium, and large way. Get that. And I think the airline's thinking is, well, you add alcohol to the mix, you're just exacerbating the situation.
Sure.
May or may not be the case. It's
Yeah,
their.
no, I think it probably does. But yeah,
It probably does. My biggest issue was it not so much that Southwest said we're not going to serve alcohol on flights until I think September at least, or something along those lines.
Yeah.
It was American saying, well, our first and business class passengers are certainly better behaved and they're better human beings, so they can get their booze. But you little troglodytes and coach, no dice.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. I don't like
Sure.
the class system. I mean, it's already bad enough sitting in economy. Excuse me, we don't call it coach. That when you start separating it that way, I do have a problem with it. I think it's probably smart to. Wow, until things really stabilize, no one has to wear a mask anymore. Let's just, look, I do, and unlike you, I do like to drink on a plane.
And it's not a judgment thing on my end.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
And even if it were, you'd be wrong. But I get why they're taking it off the flights. I really do. But again, either just take it off or leave it on, one or the other. And to say, well, we're taking off the hard liquor, but we're leaving the beer and the hard seltzer on.
Yeah.
That's dumb. That's just now you're just you're just chopping it up weird. They're going to put it back on. They'll put it back on because it's a profit center for them.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
it'll
I
I
don't think we're disagreeing. Like, so
No.
I actually am with you on the idea that if it's not in business, it's either off or it's off. But the idea that we have made it as a culture, we're being such jerks that we're forcing them to do it. Is Jesus criminy, people grow up.
No, I agree with 100%. I mean, unfortunately, what's the old saying? Don't let a couple rotten apples spoil the whole barrel. Well, that's what happens, right?
Yeah.
And we, over the course of COVID, have devolved into these. We're all being led by our id right now, not our ego or super ego. It's all our id. It's all about pleasure, and I want to have fun. I want to go have good time. I want to have big drink, and I want to have happy time. And when we can't have happy time, everybody gonna get mad. So it's just very weird. The whole thing is very weird. But you know what's not weird, Kirby, is your bizarre infatuation with promotional products. And if I know you like I do, I bet you have one. Oh, he's rubbing his hands together like the evil, sinister, snidely whiplash. He's ready with a promotional product, folks. Kirby, share a promotional product with us, wouldn't you?
Yeah. So as we're recording this, obviously we're recording it later than normal, but we are in June, baby. We are in summertime. It's my favorite time of the year. And so, but one of the things I'd say is, events are starting to open up, golf outings are starting to happen, all that sort of thing. So I actually think this Sunscreen Stick, it almost looks like a mini sort of deodorant piece.
Oh, very nice. Is that from Orlabs?
It is from Leashables or Labs. So it's a 50 SPF. I think this bad boy is sweet, 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 minimum of 200. But if you get to EQP, they're only $3. Which I think is just a home run piece for events or just for any kind of thing where you say, hey, I actually care about my employees or my customers, because I think that's a really cool piece.
What's nice about that too, not only is it 50 SPF, which for someone like me, I'm 100% Scotsman, I burn, peel, and get whiter. It's something like that helps me a lot, but huge imprint area there. You got a lot of
full color
for your
whole thing. Yeah, cool.
Awesome. Well, Kirby, you mentioned that it is summer, which also, the sport that comes to mind is what when you're in summer?
Baseball.
That's correct, Kirby. Baseball. Did you see this? Did you see this last week? New Era released some local market Major League Baseball caps.
I didn't see this.
You might have missed it because they literally were only sold for 24 hours. It was such a disaster that New Era pulled them after 24 hours. So what the deal was, on May 25th, they released Major League Baseball caps decorated with patches all over the hat depicting local landmarks, food items, area codes, and other local flavor specific to each team. Okay, like Cincinnati had a bowl of chili on the back. Okay, things like that. It went so bad, Kirby. After 24 hours, they pulled the plug after the launch, and they were super busy and super ugly, but they had issues. So the Pittsburgh Pirates had no area code at all. Apparently, Pittsburgh doesn't have an area code, and everyone had the area code. The Tampa Bay Rays hat had 813 area code on it. Unfortunately, they play in the area code of 727. Kansas City, their hat featured 4 area codes, none of which were the area code for Kansas City. The Washington Nationals hat had the year 1776, right? That's cool. Unfortunately, Washington, D.C. wasn't founded until 1790.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Also,
I'm not a great historian, but I actually did pick up on that.
Yeah, here's one of my favorites. The Nationals hat had the year 1901 inside the outline of Washington, D.C. That franchise was the Washington Senators, which is now the Minnesota Twins. So the Nationals started playing, I think, like 12, 15 years ago.
Oh, yeah, that's new.
And then on the back, there's all sorts of this weird stuff like that. So, like I said, it got so bad on social media. And if you go to like the Cincinnati page, the Kansas City page, the own teams were roasting their own hats. So they pulled the plug on it. How does something like this get so out of hand? And I'm going to use the images of these hats as the cover for the podcast this week.
So was this a New Era project?
Like it was a New Era project, but they're Major League Baseball licensed. I mean, they had the team logos on them and everything, but they pulled them after 24 hours. And how did things get that bad? It seems like they got something wrong with everybody's hat. Plus, when you see them, they're so busy. I mean, like the New York Yankees one on the first 2 panels, and the front panels has like 9 area codes for New York. It's got things on the side, it's got things on the bill, it's got things in the back, and they're horrible. They're horrible. How does it get that bad, Kurt?
Yeah, I think this is one of those moments where, and again, this is sort of my mentality about big projects like this.
Yeah.
It's not what the salesperson wants to do. So I have to fight my own thing, but to go, okay, we're going to roll this out in Tampa. We're going to roll this out in New York, and that's it. And we're going to get this one right. And then if it goes like we think it will, we'll build anticipation and we'll do it. The idea of trying to get all those things and try to do it with all the teams, unless you're going to actually have the team, there's so many moving parts in that. That would be, it's like, you know what it reminds me of? And I have no idea if this is true. Yeah. These are hats designed by a committee.
It felt like it.
Like, oh, we have to have the zip code. Oh, we have to have this. Oh, we have to have this. Well, so it's going to suck.
I have a feeling I don't know this, but my gut is, and I think it actually started here in Nashville. People wear these hats that just say 615, which is the area code here in Nashville. And I think that's probably how it started. And then started, well, what about teams that have multiple area codes? Well, we could probably put a couple on there. But what about, maybe we should do some more. And then it's group think. You get a group of people together and it comes group think. But I will say this. I'm going to take a little bit of a positive spin on it.
Okay.
New Era is a pretty big company. It's a sizable investment. Whatever this cost, it was sizable. And for them to be prescient enough to realize in 24 hours, this is a complete disaster. It's gone. It's over and done with.
Yeah, that's a quick decision.
We move on. That's great for a company to be that decisive and take that quick of action. I actually think it's not so much a cautionary tale about groupthink. There's a million stories about that. I just love the fact that they said, we're done. Kill it. Move it. Goodbye.
I agree with that.
You're out. Get it? Baseball. Thank you.
Okay. Well done.
All right. Yeah. All right. You got another topic, Kirby? Please save us.
No, I'm going to give you a quick one here, and I want your take on something. So, so I was listening to the podcast with ASI with our buddy Dana Zezzo.
Okay.
And it was funny because I was thinking about this prior to the podcast. I really was. And then he brought it up again in the podcast. Dana was talking about it. So when he was one of the pioneers of social media, that's what they were asking him about. And he actually used to teach that you should have some semblance of balance on your social media feed. If you are a person who likes hunting, you got business on there, but you also have the stuff that you enjoy. If you're a well-rounded person, your social media feed should be well-rounded.
Right. Let them get to know the all of you, the entire you.
Yeah. And so that was a message I really took to heart, especially with early social media. Something I think Dana was ahead of his time on that particular piece. And I was actually thinking about it prior to listening to that podcast, that I've gotten out of whack with and Facebook is one of the places I play the most. And all of my stuff is business. All of my stuff has been business. And I was thinking about it, that I really need to start posting more fun stuff, more family stuff, more of my social life on social media, and sharing that portion of my life, because, all work and no play makes Kirby a dull boy. But it is a thing I've gotten away from because I'm so passionate about the business side. And so I guess my question to you is, do you think I've been out of whack? I'm not looking for you to call me out, but just, does it make sense what I'm talking about to share more of that side of me? Do you think that makes sense for me?
Yeah, well, give me an opportunity to call you out. I'm going to do it. Yeah, I'm going to call you out. I would. You and I have talked about this, I think, offline, probably about 4 or 5 years ago, and you kind of stated your case, because I had said you don't really share your blogs on your personal page.
Yeah,
you share it through the Hasseman communication page, and if there's other affiliated businesses, but you don't really do it on your personal page. The only thing you'll do it is in the promotional products group. And you were very clear, like, I don't want to clog my personal feed and make people feel like they have to read my stuff. And it was a very thoughtful answer you had. I disagreed at the time. And so
it was because I was doing so much, because at the same time you were saying you are creating so much content, right?
But you're doing that now. Yeah. So here's what I would do. If you want my suggestion, I would like to see more. I'd like to see more fun, Kirby. I think you have a lovely family, and throughout the pandemic, you did some really fun videos and stuff like that. That was a really cool insight to the out of office Kirby, which is a lovely Kirby. And it gives you another dimension other than the marketing guru and the author and the father and things like that. So I think that's a wonderful way to round out. I'd love to see that. I'd also love to see you, when you have a blog you think is a really good one, and you and I talk about that. When you and I think our blogs are good, they always fail.
I wrote one today. Readership. I love it. Nobody cared.
Get some more readership and throw it on your personal page. I do, like, because I'll share this podcast and my blog on my personal page. It's the only two business things I do that share on my personal page. But again, I want people to know that. So it's fun when people from high school, like we were talking about, I was in Texas for my dad's funeral, and some high school friends, was very lovely. They came in, to the funeral. And several of them who I don't speak to her, I was just say, you're just very complimentary about my writing, or very complimentary about us on the podcast. That's nice. And they say, we love getting to know you that way. And so I think you do need to mix it up a little bit. I'd say blend it up, baby. Blend it up.
Well, the other thing I think, thank you, by the way, I appreciate that. The other thing I find that if I've decided to do more fun, to show more of that, well, what it does is it makes me want to do more fun stuff. And so, which, by the way, I like. So it kind of has an interesting side effect. So
fun is good. Hey, I know we're up against it. I just want to mention one quick thing.
Yeah, please.
A friend of the show, a friend of both of ours, and just a spectacular human being, Mary Jo Thomasini, was named a PPAI Woman of Distinction. And I would feel horrible if we didn't just acknowledge what a true lovely woman she is. She's the CEO of Competitive Edge Distributorship up in Michigan. She was a former PPAI chair lady of the board, chairperson of the board, a consummate giver of her time, and truly maybe the best compliment I can give her, one of the best listeners I've ever met. When you're speaking to her, she focuses 100% on you and gives very thoughtful responses. I'm a big fan of Mary Jo, love that woman to death. So Mary Jo, congratulations on being named the PPA, a Woman of Distinction, obviously very well-deserved.
Totally well-deserved. I'm so glad you brought that up. She's what I think of as the consummate pro in our industry. And I agree 100% with everything you said.
And she does everything with grace and elegance. And I just love that about her. She's just a very classy. She's a classy broad. And I mean that in every positive sense of the word. She is a classy lady.
Yep.
Can't say enough nice things about her.
So speaking of classy, let's jump to the game, because that won't be classy at all.
Party in the back. Let's do it. Kirby, I need a good laugh. Let's go.
Okay. So I kind of kept this one pretty simple. I kind of gave you a tease that I might be doing something like this a couple weeks ago. So what I wanted to do is, a couple weeks ago, we talked about music. You are a fan of the #1 hair band of all time, Van Halen. And so today I wanted to talk to you about your favorite types of food to eat. And I'm going to go eat out, but so I think I almost wrote this as to cook.
Okay.
I don't want to do that. Whether you're eating out or you're eating at a friend's house or whatever, these are your favorite types of food to eat.
Just to consume.
Just consume. Okay.
Got it.
I'll give you kind of an either or. Okay.
Okay. So there's no wrong answers.
There is no wrong answers. I actually really believe that. So I gave this quiz to Skylar earlier today. And it was fascinating to hear her take. So I can't wait to hear yours. Okay.
I'm ready to go. Let's go, Kirby.
All right. So Mexican or Chinese?
Oh, Mexican for days. I love American fake Chinese food, but I would pick Mexican over that any day of the week.
I love it. Okay, cool. I knew you'd have an opinion.
Yeah.
Indian food or Thai food?
Thai. Don't like Indian food. Don't love curry. And I don't say that with any knowledge of curry. I've had a couple curry dishes. I haven't liked them, but it's something I would like to revisit. But right now, Thai all the way. I get some pad Thai, baby.
All right. Here's one I really want your take.
Okay.
Kansas barbecue or Texas barbecue?
Oh, please. First of all, Kansas barbecue is terrible. It's not terrible. It is. Texas barbecue. Because you know what's great about Texas barbecue, Kirby?
What's that?
It's not about the sauce. You let the meat and the wood shine. Everybody in Kansas City, it's all about like this sauce. And it's like, who wants a runny, spicy ketchup running all over their meat? Insert your own joke there. But I stay Texas. And if anybody, it's the best barbecue in the whole world. So bring it on. All you Carolina people and Memphis, Kansas City, Texas is the best barbecue on the planet. Thank you. Good day. I said good day.
I was very excited about that because I knew. So I asked Skylar that same question. She's like, I don't know. I'm like, Bill will have an opinion. All right. Ready?
I'm ready.
Chicago pizza, New York pizza.
Oh, New York pizza. I don't like deep dish doughy meat pie situation. First of all, they have the sauce on top, then the layer of cheese, and then all the meat and stuff, all the toppings inside the pizza. So your pepperoni doesn't get crispy. It gets all oily and gross. And there's something again, I lived in both. I lived in New York for 5 years, lived in Chicago for 10. There's something I like about getting a slice of New York pizza, folding it and eating it. It's just fabulous.
Love it. I love it. All right. Fruits or veggies?
I'm going to go vegetables. I as I get older, I really enjoy vegetables more, and I'm cooking a lot more vegetables. I have a fascination with the fungus these days, the mushroom. So vegetable.
Love it. A couple more. You're doing great. So at their best, okay? Like, so if you, a great burger or tacos? Not
even a competition. Has a burger every day of the week and twice on Sunday.
Correct.
It's really the perfect food. It has every food group in there.
Yep.
It's portable. It's not going to crumble on you. I like tacos. And I know Jay Buscelli, I'm sure I'm going to get a nasty gram from Jay. I love the taco, but only the soft taco. Hard taco shells are for rookies. Thank you very much. I'm Bill Petrie, and I approve that taco message.
Pizza or pasta?
Pizza. Pasta, it's okay. It's fine, but it's just a vehicle for whatever sauce you're putting on it. So and it's just a carb bomb. So I'd rather have pizza.
Okay, last one. Cake or pie?
Oh, man, that is the easiest one of all. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Think about this. Someone gives you $10. Says, I want you to go to the grocery store and get the best cake you can. They give you $10. They want you to go to the grocery store and get the best pie you can. That pie will beat that cake every single time. Pie is far superior than cake. Cake is just frosting with some mushy sponge underneath it. Pie will win. Pecan pie, preferably, but pie, pie. I love my pie.
Okay.
You know what else I love, Kirby?
3.14.
I do like 3.14, and that's Pi Day, March the 14th, which was just 2 months ago. And it's something I remember and I recognize, but I'm more thinking about employee recognition, Kirby. We talked about that earlier at the top of the show. It really is important for people. Kirby is showing that gratitude glass. They do that beautiful deep etch on there. But just the overall concept of employee engagement, how critical that is to companies, especially right now, as people are going back to the office, they're not going back to the office, trying to actually attract talent right now. Part of the thing people are going to look at is, do you have an employee engagement recognition program? Because those positive vibes, when you have that and it's thoughtfully executed, permeate the entire organization. And there's no better partner than Jay Charles to help you navigate that, because it can get confusing. It can get a little, how do we do this? How do we manage this? There's nobody better in this industry than Jay Charles to help you out. So head over to jcharles.com. You're going to find out how to do that. And you're not going to be sorry you did. They got great people there, and the merchandise is great. Again, it's a time machine. Takes you back at that moment of where you got that award. So can't thank Jay Charles enough for sponsoring this fine broadcast. Kirby, appreciate you. Again, congratulations on your news, and thank you for your kind thoughts on my dad. And thank you again, everybody out there, for their kind words as well. And life goes on, and look forward to chatting with you next week, pal.
See you, buddy.
That's right.